and religion in the region of West Bengal. It allows you to enjoy your truth and other people's truth and move towards greater truth. India is a land of many diverse languages, beliefs, cultures and religions, each one quite different from the other. Since ancient times, people of other states across the country, from north to south, central to west, and from foreign shores have chosen to visit, revisit, and often make West Bengal their permanent place to live in and work in, irrespective of language, caste, creed, religion, livelihood, lifestyle, and culture, creating a niche for themselves, yet at the same time respecting the truth of those who believe are different from their own truth. This region has evolved into a significant example of the harmony of moving towards greater truth. This is the true spirit of Hindu mythology, where tolerance and respect for others is meant to be practiced, a significant need in today's troubled times of intolerance, terrorism, and proactive hate crimes. This interpretation of the myths and religion does not restrict, but instead reaches out and is a very unique practice in this part of India that is unconsciously filtered down from parent and peer to every child in the region. Myth in Bengal plays a pivotal role in children's education and psychological perception of interacting with those who may be different. From a very young age, most families participate in community festivals, encouraging their children to do so also, irrespective of caste, creed or religion or economic status. A myth of the Pandava prince Arjuna underlines a lesson to live by in our present times. Once Arjuna saw an unusual creature in the forest. It had a head of a rooster, a peacock's neck, a lion's waist, the hump of a bull, a snake's tail, and various limbs of a tiger, deer, elephant, and human. His first reaction was fear of the unknown beast, and Arjuna raised his bow to kill it. But a thought struck him. Just because a creature is unfamiliar, why suppose it to be a monster? Arjuna lowered his bow, and the creature raised its human hand in blessing. It was God himself, testing Arjuna's wisdom and tolerance and how to live in harmony with the truth. This is living testament to the native peoples of West Bengal, who have for generations been put to such a test and who have unconsciously exercised the wisdom to win out where many others may have failed. The secret is in the fact that while myth and religion are closely interwoven in this region, the focus is more on the lessons to be learned than the didactic dogma of its practice, a factor in psychological development of a child to determine how that child perceives the world around him. As Devdutt has described, an individual follows and holds on to its own truth, a combination of myth, legend, mysticism, belief, and miracles. What is important is that there is always respect for the other person's truth. This is the secret of harmony. In mythology, publications for children. Today, India's publishing market offers a wide range of mythology and folklore for children, even during the 1970s and 80s, when staple reads for urban children included Enid Blyton and Nancy Drew titles, and Archie comics. These were parallel to Amar Chitra Katha. Adults still recall the fascinating stories of Ram, Sita, Krishna, and other characters of Indian mythology, as they had first read them in Amar Chitra Katha series. While various genies in children's writing are experiencing a surge, the retelling of our epics and mythological tales remains an enduring passion. India also has a rich oral and written tradition, and it is hoped that in the future we will see untold stories from mythology. Mythological sagas and cartoon films depicting Hindu mythology gained popularity on the big screen as far back as the 1940s. Free access to multimedia with the introduction of color TV on national channels during the 1980s. Popular TV serials of the Ramayana began. These were followed by several other mythological mega TV serials. Considering the vast range the multimedia offers, mythological stories continue to fascinate both adult and child across India. Knowledge and exposure to myth in India is therefore not confined to books or the multimedia, films and TV serials. It is constantly being retold as a part of rituals and traditions that are handed down from generation to generation in each household. Mother Goddess myths in India. In Hindu tradition, the mother is the first teacher, and in the yogic tradition, the proper respect of yogini is a necessary path to liberation. As a sacred feminine force made incarnate, yogini are the goddesses of mythology, Lakshmi, Parvati, Durga Ma and Kali Ma, as well as the ordinary human woman who is enlightened. Both have exuberant passion, spiritual powers and deep insight. They are capable of giving birth to saints. They exude power and strength as the prime peacemakers. In the initiatory traditions of both yoga and shamanism, self-mastery of sexual energy within a moral code of sacred sexuality for both females and males, as monastic sannyasinis or as householder brahmacharis, as opposed to merely yoga asanas. Thus, the mother symbol is of deep significance in the daily lives of our children. We have to talk about Ganesh now. Ganesh, the happy elephant head god, who was created by the mother goddess herself. Legend has it that once when Parvati, the wife of Shiv, took a bath, there was no one to keep guard for her. She molded an idol from clay and infused life into it, and Ganesh was born. In the same way as the Bible tells us how God created man in his own image, breathing onto an image of clay. Parvati kept the newborn standing guard outside, ordering him not to let anyone in till she finished her bath. The god Shiva, who had been away from home for many years, returned unannounced. He knew nothing of the son who had been born in his absence. So when Ganesh drew his sword and barred him from entering, Shiva's third eye destroyed Ganesh's head in a rage. Parvati pleaded with her husband and all the gods to bring her son back to life, but this was not possible without a head. Shiva promised her that he would replace the son's head with the first sleeper lying in the wrong position. Hindus believe that it is best to sleep along the earth's magnetic line, and the head towards the north pole with the feet pointing towards the south pole. Someone sleeping in the wrong position would therefore do just the opposite and have his or her head towards the south and feet toward the north. This belief is shared by people of all faiths in India, including the followers of Islam. It was a baby elephant Shiva saw, and thus Ganesh's human head was replaced by an elephant's head. Horrified, Parvati sought the help of Brahma the creator and Vishnu the preserver. Brahma bade her forgive Shiva, saying, Ganesh may not be handsome, but all will recognize the goodness and love him for himself. Alone among the gods and goddesses, he has an elephant head, so he will never be forgotten or ignored and will have a special place in heaven and in the hearts of people. Ganesh will be the god of wisdom and the scribe of heaven and the god of literature. He will be the remover of obstacles, added Vishnu, and will be worshipped first at any religious ceremony before any other gods are worshipped. He is the god who will smile good fortune on any new undertaking. Hindu religious festivals always begin with a prayer to the elephant-headed god of wisdom. Traditional folk puppet performances in India begin with an invocation to Lord Ganesh. The elephant head is very significant in that it is known for its intelligence, faithfulness, and strength to overcome obstacles, qualities that Ganesh is believed to be endowed with. The myth of Ganesh thus sets a striking example to generations, 4 generations to come and learn from. The love that Ganesh has for his mother is unmatched today. And it's not just sons but daughters too who are enlightened by this story and reminded of their filial duties. A mother must be treasured as counselor, friend and protector, just as much or perhaps more than a father. In Hindu mythology, even the gods took refuge under the wings of their mother's love, when their powers refused to work wonders for them. A favorite story is about a competition between Ganesh and his brother Kartikeya to win the fruit of knowledge, but they must first be put to a test. In the test, the brothers were told to circle the world thrice. Whoever got back first would be the winner. While Kartikeya set out on the peacock steed, Ganesh's steed was only a rat and too slow for him to win the race. But he had no intention of going anywhere. All he did was to make 3 rounds of Parvati, his mother, who meant for him his whole world. The lesson is significant. Coping with a disability and with no swift steed to ride, he hadn't a chance to win the race, but winning the race wasn't his goal. His objective was to identify his world and the reason for his very existence. He believed he owed his existence to his mother. She was his whole world. In circling his mother, he exercised an almost divine wisdom over knowledge and materialistic values. Ganesh never once felt deprived or degraded, but used the tools he had coupled with the wisdom and strength. Differently abled, he exhibited courage to resolve a problem. By learning to overcome his own fears and obstacles, he became an icon of successful ventures. Through his selfless filial love and devotion, he earned a place for himself amidst the gods on his own merit, so that he became the one who gets worshipped even before the Trinity is invoked. Thus, consciously or unconsciously, the myth of Ganesh continues to be an awe-inspiring example for today's youth in India, and its metaphorical references are easily related to in real-life situations. Because at every given point, the myth of Ganesh sets examples for children and adults to learn from.